Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hi, my name is Cassie, aka Cassie Ever After. Today, if you haven't guessed by the title of this video, I will be doing my in-depth Droid Depot review. So, first of all, let me show you my Droid. I decided to build a BB. Yes. You done? Cool. I decided to build a BB unit. So this is what I call BB96. I named my droid that specifically because my wedding will be September 6th, 9/6. Yeah. So I'm gonna be not critical, but I'm gonna go into depth. Oh, and if you haven't noticed by the huge Christmas tree behind me, I have decorated for Christmas and I have no regrets. But that being said, for Droid Depot at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Galaxy's Edge, or if you're at Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge, the Droid Depot is a place where you can build your own droid. You have a choice of 2 different units. So you can build a BB unit like this, or you can build a R2 unit or R unit. I decided to build a BB unit specifically because I love BB-8 and I just think that this is the cooler. Bless you, Lucy. Sorry, y'all, that was my doggy. You okay? You good? Solid. I thought that the BB units are the cooler design of the 2. I know that the R units are more classic. And I think when we go back, I will eventually build an R unit, but I just really like the BB units. Now, to talk about the process just a little bit, how it works. You have a reservation. So you make a reservation on Disney World's website or on the app, and you go during your reservation window, and there is a specific check-in line. So you go to the check-in line, you let them know your name, they'll look you up, and then they'll ask you, do you want to build an R unit or do you want to build a BB unit? You tell them which one, and the cost to build a droid, whether you do an R unit or you do a BB unit, it's $100 plus tax. So plus tax, I think it ended up being about $110. Now, mind you, there are accessories that you can buy for your droid. So they have different personality chips you can buy. So you can get a first order chip, a resistance chip, or a scoundrel chip. I think those are the only 3 that you can get. You can also buy decals. Now the decals are specifically for the R units. When I went, I personally didn't see any decals for the BB units. So that is something to keep in mind. So you let them know to Really, Lucy? Really? As y'all can tell, my dog wants to be the center of attention today. Hello. How are you? You good? He doesn't like the droid. You good? Thank you. As I was saying, there's different chips, there's different decals. The decals are specifically for the R units. I did not see any for the BB unit, so just, again, keep that in mind. When it's your time to build, they'll give you a basket. And the basket will have either the BB unit instructions on the bottom or the R unit instructions on the bottom. And so you take that basket, and inside of the Droid Depot, there is a conveyor belt that goes about halfway around the depot. And it's just nothing but parts, continuous on a loop. And so you go, you find a space, you put your basket down, and then inside the instructions, it tells you what parts you need to build your specific unit. It tells you, because you can choose from, for the BB unit, for example, you can choose from a round head like this, or they have another head that has a flat top. So you can choose from that. The BB unit is pretty simple because you need the head and you need the body. There's several different kinds of bodies. So they had like red ones. They had your standard one that looks exactly like BB-8. They have like this all black one that I got. They have purple ones in various designs. It's really a personal preference. For me personally, I wanted something very sleek looking, and when you think of sleek, you think black. So I went for the all black. And he's talking. Thank you, BB96. But I also wanted a pop of color. So for the parts, and I'm gonna just take his head off real quick. So this is my BB unit's head, and this purple part here is a separate part. So I wanted a little pop of color to my all black, so I ended up getting this purple part. So once you have all of your parts, a cast member will direct you to your building station. So I believe they had about 12 stations, if I remember correctly. And once you're there, you start building. So you have the instructions on how to build your unit in front of you. And I'm gonna go ahead and take my BB unit apart so you can see all of the pieces that you'll need to build a BB unit, as well as how to put it together. Okay, so I went ahead and disassembled my BB unit off camera. And so what you start off with is the body. This is what is in the shell of a BB unit, and this is how it stabilizes when it's actually moving. So in this body, what you do is at the station, they give you these little tubes you can choose from. You can choose from black, blue, or red. I just chose black because, you know, I'm sticking with the all black theme. Also at this time, if you bought a personality chip, you would put it in, and you put it, and I actually have mine already in here. I've got a resistance chip in here. And this is where that goes. So once that's done, you take your shell. So this is half of the shell of the BB unit, and you just put the body in the unit so that it's like this. Now, you see this red arrow here. On the other side of your shell, there's also a red arrow. And then really super simple, you just follow the arrows until they're aligned. So let me do that, just like that. Now, from here, you get your head. So again, this is my BB head. The antennas are actually inside of the head when you pick it up from the conveyor belt. And this piece right here, which is your magnetic piece, you actually take the screwdriver that is at the workstation, which is above you. It's like on a string pull thing, and you literally screw it on there. And then you just kind of stick, hold on, let me take the antennas, or I don't think I can. I got mine in real good in there, but you just literally just stick the antennas on. So once that's done, you're gonna take your head and you're gonna kind of feel for the magnetic part in the body. And there it is. So once you're done building your unit, there's a button that you press for a cast member, and the cast member will come and put it in the activation chamber. Now, once it's in the activation chamber, they'll make sure your BB unit's all ready to go, make sure it's assembled correctly. And then at that point, they'll tell you, okay, you can press the activation button. Now you can scour YouTube for videos of this specifically because there are a lot of them. But once it's in the activation unit or chamber and you press activation and the head starts moving and all of that jazz, they'll take this remote while it's in the activation chamber to pair them. Let me make sure. There we go. And then so once it's activated, the cast members will give you a box to put it in, Or if you guys want to get the Droid backpack, it's an accessory backpack that you can put your Droid in, and there's like a flap and you can flap it up or down, and the Droid will react within the backpack throughout the land, which is pretty sick. Something along the lines of that, or the head will move, depending on which areas. So one thing I do like about it, more specifically the personality chips. If you have a resistance chip and you're in the first order area, this will react like crazy. And I did test it with my Droid. Same thing if you have like a first order chip and it's in the resistance area, it starts sounding off and moving like crazy. It also interacts with other droids that are in Galaxy's Edge, which I think is pretty cool. Overall, I'm gonna put my Droid down. Overall, I think it's definitely an experience that everyone should have at least once. However, one of the things that I noticed right away when I was building my Droid is how crazy the Droid Depot is. I'm talking, it is crowded, loud, and just overall, I felt like it was a bit unorganized. What I mean by that is we had a reservation. As soon as they started opening reservations for Galaxy's Edge, I grabbed it that day. And when I went, there was people who were just walking in without a reservation going before us, which, you know, I'm not that kind of person, to be honest with you. Like, usually I don't care. But when it's in a crazy, chaotic, something as popular as Galaxy's Edge, and I have a reservation, but someone can just walk in front of me, that is a bit irritating. I'm not gonna lie. Also, one of the things that was chaotic, that conveyor belt. You are squished in between two other people, for one, and there's not a lot of room to move and actually grab the parts to put in your basket. So that was the other thing where I was like, meh. And the last thing was when I finished gathering my parts to go to the building station, I had to wait like 20 minutes standing with my basket, waiting for a building station to open up. So if you have mobility issues, or like you were like for me, for example, at that point I had started developing blisters. So my feet were absolutely killing me. But there's obviously nowhere to sit down in the Droid Depot. Or if you're someone who can't walk, bringing an ECV in there is gonna be an issue because people are moving all over the place. So keep that in mind. So I feel like the experience, again, it's something that everyone should experience at least once, but I think that it could use some organization by Disney's part. There was a stark contrast between the Droid Depot and Savi's workshop to me personally. Savi's workshop was extremely organized, not crowded at all, because it was basically reservations only. It was very rare that you could just walk up without one. And like, I wouldn't say quiet, but kinda, you know what I mean? Like, you're in the workshop room with like maybe 20 people, and that includes guests of builders, and the room is huge. So it's not like extremely crowded. Droid Depot is the absolute exact opposite. So I would keep that in mind. Now, is that a make or break for me to do this again? Absolutely not. I definitely will be going back to Droid Depot because overall, this I think is worth $100, especially if one, you're a kid and you just love toys that move. But then also, if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan and have always wanted your own BB unit, or you've always wanted your own R2 unit, it's definitely a collector's item that I would recommend. But if you had to make me choose between the Droid Depot or choose between Savi's, I'm gonna choose Savi's all day long just because of the organization of it all. But also keeping in mind, or that I did keep in mind, that Galaxy's Edge literally had only been open for about a month at Disney World at this point. So I understand that there's going to be kinks and changes made throughout the time that it exists. So just keep that in mind as well. But again, overall, yes, BB96. Cool story, bro. But yeah, overall, I think this is an experience that, again, I definitely will do again, and I do recommend, and I will be going back to build an R unit because I'm curious to see how a BB unit is versus the R unit. Now, if you get a BB unit, one of the other things I will say to keep in mind is that when you are moving it using, again, this remote control, the BB units are extremely wobbly, especially if you are on a hard floor surface. So if you can't tell by my background, I have hardwood floors in my house. And so when I started moving my BB unit around, mostly to scare my dog, it was extremely wobbly. And I will, after I finish talking, insert videos of what I'm talking about, or I may insert it here. I don't know, whatever. Either way, you'll see it. It's extremely wobbly. And the other thing that I noticed is that if you play too hard with the BB units, it can actually come apart when it's rolling. So like the shell here will actually split and you'll have to like put it back together. So that's something to keep in mind with the BB units. Again, I can't speak on the R units because I didn't build one and I don't have one yet. But for the BB units, keep that in mind. Overall, do I think that this is worth $100? I'm on the fence. If I'm gonna be completely 100% real with you all, I'm on the fence because on one hand, I don't think there's anywhere else in the world that you can build your own BB unit or R unit at. On the other hand, I kind of expected a little higher quality. Even with the remote, like it looks like a kid's remote. And granted, I know that kids will be getting these or have gotten these already. But I know a lot more adults that want to get their hands on a BB unit or an R unit. And I feel like this plastic and, I mean, even the plastic of the BB unit, like I have scuff marks all over this because of it, like just me messing around with it to see how it works. So I'm on the fence. I really am. I think that if you're not a Star Wars fan or you really don't want a droid, but you feel like you maybe have to because you're in Galaxy's Edge, I would honestly say to skip it because in that case, it wouldn't be worth $100. If you are a hardcore Star Wars fan or you have kids that you know that would love this, then I would think that it would be worth the $100. But overall though, I feel like they should probably knock it down to like 70 or $80 because unless the materials in the future are more like scuff resistant, scratch resistant, doesn't come apart easily when you're using it, then yeah, they should knock it down in price a little bit personally. But that's just me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and make a comment down below. If you guys have already built your unit, let me know what your opinion is because maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. I can do that sometimes. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.